Hello, happy Thursday. It is time for Hat Trick Thursday as we do our 3 tips. Today we're going to be talking about personal brand. Personal brand is one of those things that has really created a boom in the last decade, both personally and professionally. You hear about it in a lot of different arenas. I'm sure you've read tons of articles about it. Do you need to be worried about it? What you can do about it? How you can affect change with yours? What does a good personal brand look like? What happens if you've got bad personal brand and you need to fix it? All of these different things. So today I just wanted to talk about 3 quick pieces of your personal brand that you can be thinking about and making sure that you are aware of how they may come across and how they may affect your personal brand. The first one is integrity, okay? Do you have integrity? And I think that that is really kind of the rock bottom of a person's personal brand and professional brand. We all know those shady characters and their reputation precedes them. You know that they just are who they are, right? How we come across with respect to whether or not we have integrity, whether or not we seem like we have good values, good morals, good integrity, right? That's kind of the baseline, I think, for our personal brand. Reputation is, in my opinion, very much on par with our personal brand. I think that before it was called personal brand, it was called your reputation, and they've kind of managed to come up with this catch-all now that includes a whole lot of other things in it. But at the baseline of our personal brand is our reputation, and whether or not we have integrity and what type of integrity we have is a big piece of that. Number 2 is your presence. How do you show up? How do you show up in the world? How do you show up at work? How do you show up in personality, on video? All of these different things. We've been forced by current events to be online largely, so even our presence online matters, right? Do you show up in a wow kind of way, right? Are you a bright colors kind of dresser? Are you wearing hats? Are you have bright colored hair? Are you a in your face kind of person? When you're meeting with people in person, are you very close to them? Are you standoffish? Are you quiet? Do you sit back and observe and take it all in before you contribute or provide your input, or are you a jump right in and this is what I think, this is how I feel kind of person, right? So how do you show up in situations is the next one. Your presence. What do you bring to the room? The third one is communication. What is your communication style, which kind of ties in a little bit to your presence, right? Are you a fast talker? I might be guilty of that. Are you a cursor? I might be guilty of that at times too, right? I try to keep it professional here and keep the bad words to a minimum. But what is your communication style? Do you speak very loud? Do you speak very quietly? Do you have an accent? Do you use a lot of slang words? Do you use a lot of crutch words? Perhaps you struggle when you get in front of a group and you use words like or so or like or you know. Maybe you build those in without even realizing it. What is your communication style? All 3 of these things are parts of your personal brand, and your presence and your communication are definitely things that you can adjust, you can change if you want to. If you are trying to come across with a certain type of a personal brand, you can work on those things. Obviously, I can't keep my hands still, right? If that's something that I want to work on, I can work on putting my hands down and not waving them around all the time if I think that that's important to my personal brand. If you are worried about your reputation with respect to looking professional, you can adjust what you wear, how you do your hair, whether you do makeup, whether you wear a suit, whether it's close cut, or however you show up and you appear, right? These are all different things that we can work on. And as I said, integrity is another one that you can work on. I think it's going to take a little bit longer to make changes if you're going from the negative to the positive. And to a certain extent in all of these areas, if you are known for having a gutter mouth, or if you are known for being a personal space invader and you're constantly in people's space, right? As your presence, it may take a little bit longer to walk those things back, to come out in a positive light than it is to go to the negative. But at the same time, a lot of these are at the eye of the beholder, which is one of the tricky parts about personal brand. You know, if you are working with people that are super introverted and they're very uncomfortable with you being in their face and being loud and talking really fast and waving your hands around and invading their space, then obviously that's going to leave them with a little bit more of a negative impression than other people that are extroverted or boisterous and loud and excitable like you are, right? It doesn't mean that you all can't work together and have a successful team relationship, but it just means that you have to be aware of how you come across. Part of that goes to your emotional intelligence, and I think probably in the next week or two we'll be talking a little bit more about that as well, if you're unaware of how that works and how reading off of other people's body language and their cues and things that they're putting off based on how you come across, because we can really work on those types of things. But with respect to your personal brand, especially now that we are online most of the time and there's a lot of video chats going on, there's a lot of video meetings going on, there's a lot of things that you can think about. And just because you are working from home doesn't mean you should just sweep the personal brand out the window, right? Everybody's wearing comfy pants, but you probably shouldn't not do your hair, or maybe you should brush your teeth, or whatever it is that you're slacking off on while we're home. We should try to still be a little bit professional in how we are going about doing things, because you don't want to get to the point where you become so lax with your personal brand, professional brand while we're working from home that once we get back in the office, it's difficult to kind of walk that back. Part of it is just being aware of all of the different things that go into it. So those are a few things that you can work on. All right, I hope you have a great rest of the day, and I'll see you next week. Take care.